Welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine bringing in a staggering 134.8 billion pesos in sales in a single year, but ending up with less profit per share than you had the year before.
Right, it's a massive number, but the context completely changes the story.
Yeah, and that is exactly the puzzle we are looking at today as we dig into the 2025 audited financial statements for Universal Robina Corporation, or URC. Out of all those billions flowing in, you really have to ask, how much is actually sticking to their ribs?
Exactly. The top line number is huge, but the cost of actually manufacturing those goods, so the raw materials, labor, overhead, that takes an immediate 105.4 billion peso bite out of it.
Wow. Okay, so let's unpack this. That leaves them with a gross margin of around 21.8%.
Right, meaning they clear roughly 29.4 billion pesos before even touching their other operating expenses.
Okay, but by the time marketing, administrative costs, taxes, and interest are all settled, the net income drops to just 8.8 billion. So they're basically keeping just about 6.5 cents for every peso of sales.
And what's fascinating here is, if you look at the trajectory, the expenses are fundamentally outpacing the revenue growth.
Which is not exactly what you want to see.
No, definitely not. I mean, even though their total sales actually went up from 2024, their earnings per share went the other way.
Wait, it actually dropped?
Yeah, it dropped from 5.14 pesos down to 4.14. It
Mm-hmm.
just cost them significantly more to operate this year, which naturally shrinks the actual profit slice passed on to the shareholders.
Man, so if margins are getting squeezed like that, it naturally makes you wonder how they are handling day-to-day cash flow. Because running the numbers, their current ratio is sitting at roughly 0.57.
Which sounds terrifying to most people.
Right. Here is where it gets really interesting. In personal finance, having almost twice as many short-term bills as short-term cash is a giant red flag. Are they over-leveraged?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it certainly looks that way at first glance, especially when you factor in a debt-to-equity ratio of roughly 2.76.
That's what, total liabilities of 98 billion against total equity of 35.5 billion.
Exactly. They are clearly relying on heavy leverage. But you have to view this through the lens of the fast-moving consumer goods sector.
Oh, right, because snacks and beverages are turning over constantly.
Yep, they move fast.
It is kind of like running a grocery store using the supplier's money.
Yeah, that is a great analogy.
Because if you buy inventory on a 60-day credit limit, but you sell it to the customer for cash in, say, 5 days, you don't really need a mountain of your own cash lying around.
As long as the product keeps moving.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That low current ratio isn't necessarily a crisis for them. It is actually a calculated operational strategy.
So they rely heavily on supplier credit to fund those massive daily operations rather than tying up their own liquidity.
Right. But having said that, that strategy makes their dividend payout this year look a bit baffling.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to bring this up. We just noted their net income was 8.8 billion pesos.
Yep.
Yet they paid out 8.98 billion in cash dividends. I mean, they handed out more cash than they generated in profit.
They did. And to make that happen, they actually had to dip into their corporate savings account.
You mean their retained earnings?
Yeah, the retained earnings built up from previous year's profits.
That is wild. So they dug into past profits to fund current dividends, despite those tighter margins, and a 0.57 current ratio.
Right. It is a very deliberate and aggressive choice.
It really leaves you with a fascinating question, though. Is emptying the piggy bank to keep the dividend high a sign of ultimate confidence in their cash flow machine?
Or is it a risky move to keep shareholders happy at the expense of a long-term safety net?
Exactly. It is definitely something for you to chew on the next time you grab one of their snacks off the shelf.